I'm gonna record our thing
Oh, yeah.
because and I will get you guys access to the recorded videos that I do, the training videos that I do. So, you know, a lot of times that'll help you guys understand some of the products that we sell at the marketing company and some of the training that we do. Because when I'm training somebody else, then you know, you guys can kind of watch those videos and say, oh, I'm interested in that as well. And then you can kind of get started, you know, a little earlier.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I mean, then there's a lot of companies out there. Have you guys heard of multi-level marketing companies?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
They're awful, and they are preying upon young people, and they prey upon, you know, people that have a dream but they don't have a lot of resources, and most of the time you have to pay money to be involved in these businesses, and it never really ever works out
Of course.
for the people that are doing it, you know.
That's
So
good to know.
yeah, it is just so terrible because it takes people's dreams and it kind of smashes them on the rocks, because, you know, I'm paying $100 a month, or I'm paying, you know, I'm ordering all the skincare products or hair care products or whatever, and they want you to sell them to your friends. And then as soon as you're not successful selling these products, then your leader or your sponsor or whatever they call it, your person that's above you, starts telling you, oh, I mean, you're obviously just not trying hard enough, or you're not good enough, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, instead of getting lifted up, are getting used, and then there's another failure. And, you know, so
Less of a opponent, I guess, for them to worry about.
Sounds like one of those, was it pyramid schemes I've heard?
that's exactly right, Michael.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
They have
Multi-level
you,
marketing equals pyramid scheme. It's the exact same thing.
yeah.
And so the reason I'm telling you guys is because, you know, a lot of what I do, you know, is putting people together to actually start real businesses, you know. And a lot of these multi-level marketing people are like, oh yeah, you know, we've got our own business. Well, no, you don't. You know, if you're not building something, and you have to pay money to be involved in it, then, you know, it's really not a real business. You know, it's you're the customer, you know. And it's not a good fun business either. I mean, it's not something that, we're not plowing people's driveways, we're not mowing their lawns, we're not trimming their trees, we're not fixing their sprinklers, we're not painting, we're not, you know, we're not doing real actual money making things. We're not cleaning houses, we're not taking pictures of things and put them on the internet and selling them and getting a percentage of that. You know, it'd be like Luann approaching you and saying, hey, I've got this art business that makes these plants and makes these pictures. What I'd like to do is charge you $150 a month for the opportunity to do all this work, taking pictures of this stuff, and then if something sells, then you can get, you know, $5 or $10 from it.
Yeah.
But you have to pay $150 every month to buy some art to sell, and if it doesn't sell, then you have to buy more the next month. And if you know, you should go talk to your grandma and have her buy some of the artwork.
Yeah.
So the idea on that is that you don't get invited to any more family functions, you know,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're the
that's true.
pariah of the, you know, your friends don't want to talk to you anymore, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
But I am definitely not that in the things that we do. I'm, you know, and just to be really candid about what I want, I sold my day job, my computer company, in February. And what I used to do at the computer company was to mentor young people and teach them and grow them. I mean, the guy who's the president of that company now that it sold came to work for me when he was 16 years old. And
Wow.
you know,
Wow.
that was what I really love to do, is work with people, teach them, train them, help them. And every year at the computer company, we gave away 300 computers to disadvantaged youth in the community every year, for 25 years. The idea being that if we could put a computer in front of those kids, they wouldn't have to go out and steal car stereos, and they wouldn't have to go out and deal drugs, or they wouldn't have to be involved in prostitution or whatever, that they would have a way out if they could learn those skills of how to do the computers. And that company is still carrying on that legacy of what, you know, I started doing over there. But now that I'm not affiliated with them anymore, I'm doing the Hope Foundation. And the Hope Foundation is reaching into these communities and providing education and job opportunities in the way of small businesses to all those people in the community. So that's one of the charitable works that I do. However, it's not a big diversion of what I do in real life. I mean, the Marketing Hope marketing company and the affiliated companies that get started in that arena are designed to do the same thing. You know, two people like you guys, you're great examples. You're not, you know, disenfranchised people in the community who are, you know, really need help. You're just everyday folks that are trying to, you know, get to the next level. Well, your guys are more involved in the for-profit entities that we're doing that do the same thing. Hey, I want to hustle. I want to learn things. I want to start my own thing. I want to be involved in something somebody else is doing, you know, and I want to be involved in a culture of no negativity, only positive things that are going on. And, you know, the key phrase for what we do is called doing well by doing good. And what we're doing is we're making money in the things that we're doing, because it's really important. If I'm just doing charity work, I can do that. I'm rich, I'm retired, I can just go into the charity community and just do good things and help people. But that's where it ends, you know, unless you're willing to just give your life away, you know, then you can't do that. You have to work, you have to make money. And so what I'm doing is I'm breaking the vow of poverty. I'm saying, look, we're helping people and we're making money doing it. We're getting rich doing it. We're you know, paying off our debt. We're building our family tree. The people that are with us, eventually, people like you guys, are learning the real estate business, are learning the rental business. They're learning the income property thing. And you guys are the next millionaires because you're working, you're starting businesses, you're hustling, you're paying your debt off, and you're really doing real things because you've got energy and you've got youth and enthusiasm. You need a little wisdom and guidance and support. But after that, you know, we're making money and we're putting it in the right place. And, you know, 2 years from now or whatever, you guys save up $20,000 and you're like, hey, we want to buy a fifth of a house in Norman, Oklahoma with Mark and put it under rental. And then that's our first chunk of $20,000 invested for our family to have. You know, and the next one you put in 40 and you own a third of a house. And then the next one you put in, you know, half, and then you go in half with somebody else. The key is we're never in business with the bank. We're only in business with each other. So the properties and the investments are way, way safer because we own the properties. So let's say, for instance, that we own a house that we rent for $1,200 a month, and we own 50-50. So what's that? Oh, okay. Will you open the front door, honey? Just open the front door in case Brian comes. Then $600 is coming each side gross.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say, for instance, we'll make the numbers really, really easy to understand. Let's just say $200 a month goes to paying the taxes, the insurance, and the maintenance. So at $1,200, we each get $500 a month. That's profit from that business every month.
Okay.
And let's say something terrible happens, like COVID, or people don't pay their rent, or the housing market drops. And instead of that house being worth $1,200 a month for rental to get good tenants in, we have to rent it for $800 to get good tenants in. Okay. Well, guess what? We don't care. Now we're both, instead of getting $500 a month for our house, we're going to get $300 a month. So, I mean, we'll have to tighten our belts or whatever. That's fine. But a year will go by, 2 years will go by, and guess what happens? It all comes right back up again. And then we'll raise the rents back up again. Now we're each getting $700 a month because it's renting for $1,400 a month. And we didn't lose the whole thing because we were paying the bank $1,100 a month on a mortgage and making $100 profit. And then when something happened, then we lose the whole thing. And one of the ways that we lose the whole thing is if we have $1,100 in expenses, then we got to rent the house for $1,200, and we can't be so choosy about our renters.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So since we had to relax our background check policies and our, rent history policies and all that kind of stuff, what did we end up with at $1,300 a month when the good renters are wanting to rent at $800 a month? Can we say meth?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a bunch of people that are cooking and selling meth moved into our little house, and now we owe $40,000 in hazardous waste abatement. In addition to these people not paying rent for 6 months, in addition to us having to serve papers to them, in addition to us having to pay $1,100 mortgage during this whole process, because the bank says, screw you, pay me.
Yeah.
So what happens a lot of times to young people like you guys is you're wanting to get ahead, but without having a guide, without having a big papa that says, no, we're not doing that. Here's what we're doing, and you guys want to own the whole thing yourself. But the fantasy is you don't own anything. The bank owns it. The bank owns 90% of it. And you get a 30-year loan, and 27 years into the loan, you paid all this money, and then you lose the house because things are falling apart, and you still have to pay $1,100 a month to the bank for 30 years. And for me, this is what I enjoy. This is my work, but I love teaching. I love mentoring. I love getting people to the next level. And all these businesses, I don't do any of the work of any of the businesses. I don't plow any driveways. I don't put any sprinklers in. I don't fix up any of the cars at the car businesses. I don't do any of that stuff. I just do my job. And so that answers the question of why. Mark, why are you, doing this, and what's in it for us, and how does it work? And if you're ever talking to somebody and they don't give you really, really good examples of why it benefits them, then you're getting cheated. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. We are on this earth to make sure that we get to go forward. And anybody that's saying, "Oh, I'm just a nice guy, don't worry, don't worry about it, I'm a nice guy," and something wrong is happening.
Yeah.
And in all of my companies, every single person that works there needs to know why we're doing what we're doing. Everybody needs to know why we're doing what we're doing. And let me call this guy real quick. Luann's picking up her grandson.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. There is nothing more important in this world to Luann than her grandson.
Good to know.
Oh, God.
Hello.
Brian.
Hey.
Hey, listen, I'm on a Zoom call that I want you to join when you get here.
Sure, I'm here.
Oh, I think the front door is open. Just come on in.
Oh, okay.
And then just come
All right.
upstairs.
See you in a second.
Okay.
Goodbye.
You guys don't mind if he sits in?
Yeah.
No, that's great. I do apologize in advance. My allergies they're really bad today. So if I sneeze a lot, never mind.
Thank you.
I am so casual, I can't tell you. I love it that Michael's here with you. I love it that he's eating pizza. I love it that he's drinking. I love it that you guys are together. I love it that you're sneezing. I love the whole thing. And
Well, we're really fortunate because this week I've been helping out my cousin. She's been incredibly successful throughout her life. So she is a great person for us to be spending time with as it is.
good.
She owns property out in Brighton, and it's like a dream for him. Her land, she owns so much land, and she subdivided it and sold some of it off, and so we've been helping her because she's a hemp farmer, and it's just amazing being around somebody who can offer us so much advice.
Go ahead and sit right here. How you doing, brother? Everybody, Brian?
Hello.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
Michael and Danika.
Hi, Michael. Danica. Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet
Brian's
you.
just going to kind of audit, this conversation that we're having. Brian, when I was telling you about the operators, Brian's an operator. He's looking for a place to be. And so he's kind of learning, some different things to where we can find the right business for him to be involved in. And it needs to be the right fit for his passion that he wants to kind of be involved in, and then do the sweat equity and that kind of thing as far as, owning a certain part of what's going on. Dude, you smell fantastic.
Thank you. Took a shower.
He's got this cologne on. It's just hit me in the face. Just move back just a little bit.
Delightful.
Am I not in? No, you're good. Oh, okay.
I can't see him.
No, that's fine. He's just here. I don't want somebody sitting here listening to our conversation, and I'm recording the whole thing at the same time. And then afterwards, you're like, somebody else was in the room? What are you doing?
Okay, yeah.
Wait a minute.
Right, okay, so let's get back to where I was at last time, but finish what you're saying about your cousin. She's a hemp farmer. Does she own the farm?
Yeah. So she actually about 10 years ago bought 40 acres of land, and then she subdivided it off and kept, what would you say, 10 for herself?
10, 12-ish, like a decent amount of acreage left.
But she's been very successful, so she's just a really great inspirational person for us to be spending time with, and
Good.
so we've been learning a lot and that's all that was basically my point. We've just been around somebody who kind of motivates us to get our butts into gear.
Well,
Yeah,
I can tell you that the old adage of you become the 5 people that you spend the most time with is so true. If you're hanging around with people who are doing drugs or drinking too much or into bad things, unfortunately, you devolve into that area. Maybe you're the best person in that lower group. But if you're hanging around with people who are doing really positive things and you know, starting businesses, running businesses, you know, improving themselves, educating themselves, you gravitate towards that group. All my friends are like, you know, I don't have any debt, or I've got my house paid off, or we don't drive vehicles with loans on them. You know, we don't do that kind of thing. That's the status symbol in that group. So, you know, a person enters the group and says, hey, I got a 2020 $100,000 Ford F-150 truck that I pay $1,600 a month on. Well, the people in that group are not impressed by that person, because they know that person pays a bank $800 a month in interest so that they could drive that truck. You know, the people in my group are driving around a 2003 F-150 that is in good repair and runs and is fixed up and is super nice. And guess what they have in the safe at their house?
a lot of money.
And the title to that truck.
It's
Yeah.
true.
They don't
True.
pay anybody to be driving around their cars. Now, I'm not trying to insult anybody when I say that, because I had loans on cars and I paid massive amounts of interest for cars.
Yeah.
You know, and it's learning by those mistakes that makes us better. That's part of how I got some wisdom, is doing stupid shit like that. And my goal is, if I can have you guys not make some of the mistakes I made by just hearing some of the mistakes I made, then you guys get to jackrabbit forward faster than I did. And I get to have the feeling of changing somebody's family tree. You know, I get to have the feeling in 10 years of you guys say, you know, I met this guy, this friend of mine turned us on to this guy who helped us, and we got in these businesses, and now we own these rental homes, and, you know, we're super comfortable. We don't have to work, but we love to work. And I have people that come up to me and tell me, Mark, you changed our lives. And thank you so much, because, you know, and the Zubies are those kind of people. And I'm sure they'll tell you if you ask them, and ask them. You know, to me, the fact that they are in a different place in their life because I met John 20 years ago, and, you know, they started being more intentional with their money and their businesses and everything else. And that's a huge thing for a guy in my position, you know. And I do a short video, and I'll find it and post it again. But the first half of your life, money keeps score. Oh, look how successful they are. Look how big their house is. Look how fancy their cars are. Look how much the trips they take, all that kind of stuff. But the other half of your life later on, when you get to be where I am, relationships keep score. And a lot of times people don't figure that out. A lot of times people keep trying to make the money. They keep screwing people over, gathering more and more and more money. What they don't realize is, at the end, relationships in your life keep score. And so if you picture two people on their deathbeds, one of them's in a room alone, surrounded by money, alone. and they're going to die. Then in another room, there's somebody in a bed that's going to die, surrounded by money. But in that room, there's a bunch of people that are around the bed.
Mhm.
And at that moment, there's somebody else that comes to the door, and the person says, hey, take a little bit more of that money and move it out of the room so more people can come in. And people are coming in because that person was very interested in building those relationships. And that's one of the things that you can do with money later in life. You know, I can use my money to invest in relationships with you guys and make that grow.
Mhm.
Hey, Carson, can you turn that sound down a little bit? Love you, buddy.
I'm glad he's here.
Huh?
I'm glad he's here.
Right?
See him today.
He's a rock star. So, but the point that I'm making with that is that as you guys go along in your lives, you know, at your young age, if you have the idea that helping somebody else along the way is going to be more as beneficial to you guys as the money, I guarantee you that you're going to have a very rich, successful life, both with finances and money and your heart and what you're doing. And you know, people come to you and say, oh my God, you know, look what we're doing. And it's not just going to church and putting money in the thing, in the plate, or giving food to the homeless and that kind of stuff. Those are actions that are noble and they're great and everything like that. But if our whole life is about picking people up and bringing them along, then we do it all the time.
I sneezed.
Yeah, sorry. No, it went away. Oh.
Yeah, I actually had a idea. She's been hearing about it a couple times. Was I wanted to start a business so I could help basically fund one of the nonprofits that I wanted to do. And the basis on the nonprofit was the main idea of what I wanted to do was I kind of called it Rally Point. And the whole point of it was to get smaller, more affordable houses for vets as they come out of the military. So they basically have a base camp to when they come out, and they have no family to go to, they have no relatives or anything like that, or no friends to really bunk with or anything like that until they can transition out of the military and figure out what they want to do for a job. Especially a lot of these guys that I met when I was in the Army, was a lot of them are 18, 19-year-old kids. They stay in for a couple years. They come out 20, 23 because they didn't want to stay in all the time. Now they come out, all they know is Army. All they know is either being infantry or this or that or these or those. And they have no skill set in a way. They don't know what they want to do, all these kind of things. So the idea of the base camp was to bring them in to where they had a place where they could have a computer, where they could be able to search up jobs. They'd have a roof over their head, so they didn't have to worry about whether they had to pay the bills, that they didn't have a place to stay, all these kind of things. They'd have to be on the street doing all this kind of stuff. And the idea would be they came in and then we'd have workshops set up so they could talk to people if they want to run their own business, if they want to do woodworking, mechanic shop, all that kind of stuff. And then from there, try to step them and basically just give them a mission to do. Because all the vets that I've talked to, their hardest transition coming out was they were worried about having a place to stay, worried about where they were going to get their money, and being able to figure out what they wanted to do in the meantime of trying to figure out all these things. So they usually got in a rut of getting stuck at a job that they barely had enough money to have a decent place to stay. And so the idea behind that was this place was 100% free for them. They didn't have to worry about paying rent, utilities, all these kind of things. And they were able to basically get a place to land, for lack of a better term, a place to go to where they could spend a few months, especially if one's come back and they've been on 8-9 deployments, and they have to basically come back and re-engineer their mind again to come back and be able to work a regular job without having to be snippy or all this kind of stuff, because one of my best friends that I met, he's a Army Ranger. He was a medic, and he's gone through so much stuff, and listening to him, how he had to go through his journey through recovering from all his PTSD. The idea behind that base camp was giving somebody like him, who's been, I think it was like 13, 14 years, and then at least 6 of those years were Army Ranger medic, and having all these kind of memories of all these bad things. And that's why I go with him to airsoft, so the way he re-engineers that part of his mind to where all that combat gets out of his head. And now it's a goofy, fun game that we're playing and shooting each other and having a good old time. But the whole point of the base camp was to give the people coming out of the military a place to stay, to where they can get back on their feet, to where they can meet people that they need to do to be able to get back on their feet and get moving. And where they didn't have to, hey, I'm going to have to worry about rent. Hey, I'm going to have to worry about this. Hey, I'm going to have to worry about that. Oh, I don't have a cell phone, or hey, I don't have a computer to talk to these people, or talk to the VA to get, set up and everything like that. So that was the main premise, was to give the vets these opportunity to get going and basically take the stress of what I know I could do of getting them someplace to stay, to where they can figure out where they want to go next, and then give them a good supply and get them going, which was the whole premise of it. And I wanted to start in Colorado, and then my all-time goal is to get it to where there was a base camp in every single state, so that way no matter where they were coming out, because when I came out of the Army, they say, where did you want to go? And I said, I'll just go back home to Colorado. So the idea was, the way no matter what state they got out in, they would have some place to go. They wouldn't have to pay for a house to be able to look for jobs in the area. And if they wanted to move base camps from, say they stopped in Georgia, but then they wanted to go to Arizona because they want to do a mechanic's job, like a diesel mechanic, but they have job offers over there, I could easily move them from one place to another, and they still wouldn't have to pay for the place that they're in. So that was one of my big all-time goals, was to get a business, so that way I could have something that made profit. That way I could always have a stream of money being able to get in there. I didn't have to worry about people that had donations and stuff like that, and work and stuff like that. So it would be a fixed way of making sure I knew that, hey, because I have this business, I know I can funnel X amount into it all the time, and make sure that they're covered, and made sure that they always had an opportunity to get back. And then the other part of it was, if I ran my own business and they still couldn't find anything, and they needed cash and they needed a job, it's like, all right, I got a couple of spots in my business that I can put you in right now and get you some money and get you some spending cash to be able to maybe invest it in something or anything like that, just something to get them on their feet as well. So.
All right, you ready to get your mind blown?
Sure.
Okay. And for all the listeners that end up watching this video, they need to know, Michael, I've never met you. I mean, you were in the background on a Zoom call that Danika did a training call with me a week ago.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I ever saw your luxurious beard, right? We don't know each other.
Yes.
The Hope Foundation is about bringing together disenfranchised folks in the community that need education and need help. They become educated, and then the mission of the foundation is to bring in outside money to invest in businesses that work with the people that go through our training program. And then the operators get to have sweat equity, and they earn 5% of the business per year, up to 20% in the beginning part of the process. The money gets a good investment return, but the foundation lords over everybody. The foundation, everyone has a partnership agreement, and the foundation is the overseer of everything. The bookkeepers, the lawyers, the consultants, the board of the foundation are telling everybody how to react. So the money can't bully the operator, and the operator can't just spend all the money that the business is making. They all have to go, under the umbrella of the foundation. And the foundation is a nonprofit that receives millions of dollars in donations, much like the Wounded Warriors. And those donations are for making sure that these for-profit businesses have a bootstrap opportunity to be successful. Like, for instance, the foundation would say, okay, we're going to give this business a grant. They're going to have money that's provided by an investor that's utilized a certain way, but then we're going to give a grant to pay for the business licenses, the lawyer's fees, the CPA fees, insurance for a year. And the foundation is going to provide guidance and financial assistance so that these bootstrap businesses that we start have a chance to become successful, and they on their own go and help other people going forward. We have a division of the Hope Foundation called the Century Dream Team. And the Century Dream Team's mission is for the inner city youth and the people that I was talking about when I was talking about giving the computers away and that kind of thing. Another division that we have is the Veterans Dream Center. And the Veteran Dream Center is, for lack of a better way to say it, base camp. The guys get to go in and they get to build communities or tiny house communities or whatever it might be. Everything that we touch, we want it to be a self-sustaining for-profit entity, because that's America, that's the American dream. And if we can have these guys running their own for-profit entity, it's way better to get them started on a grant and then have them grow into, a thing where they're reintegrating into society, especially the ones that need help. Maybe they're running the mess hall or they're running the laundry or whatever, and then they step up to be on the construction crew, and they're building some tiny homes, some of which we sell and some of which we do an escalation of rents to the veterans that come in. And the first month they pay 0, and then the second month they pay 10%, the third month they pay 20%, all from the jobs that they are working on inside of the Veteran Dream Center. And some need more help, some need less, but the businesses are for-profit entities that the guys can move into. Maybe there's a small buy here, pay here car lot that specializes in diesel trucks, and the guys are all military. They're all diesel mechanics from the military. They know what they're doing, and people love to shop there because it's the veteran owned and operated car lot that does diesel repair. And I want to make sure that whatever we're doing, whether it's foundation work or for-profit work, that we're always reaching over every time. And I tell people this all the time, every single time I reach to my left to pull somebody up, 10 hands are reaching down to pull me up. And I haven't gotten where I've gotten because, I'm just going crazy, on my own abilities. People help me all the time, and you would not believe the people that call me. I mean, it would blow your mind, the people that call me that want to be involved. How can I help veterans? I mean, the names of people that call me would astound you. And, it's not just veterans, it's everybody. It's inclusive. Mm-hmm. We have people in the inner city that need help. We have veterans that need help. We are helping everyone that deserves our help, that needs our help, but at the same time, we're instilling pride and purpose in these people, not just charity. Because everybody needs a purpose. Because if you just give people a bunch of money and they're worthless and they know that they're being gifted things, then you don't fix them. You know, they devolve
Yep.
back, and you know, we have sober living communities where we're helping people that are coming out of rehab centers. And those sober living houses that we have are for-profit entities. And they do it better than anybody else does it. And the referrals that come from the rehab centers to our sober living communities, they want a chance to be in our communities, because these for-profit sober living communities are surrounded by sober jobs and sober companies. And our success rate on the people that are going through our program has way better chance of people making it through, because everybody is concerned with it being successful. Because the guys that run it, that's their job. It's not their full-time job. They're construction guys who are flipping houses, but then they're doing the sober living home thing, but it's their job, you know, and eventually it'll be their day job, you know, and they're into it and they're in recovery, you know, just like you were in the military, and you're interested in your brothers and sisters that are coming out of the Army that need help. And, you know, if you end up sitting on a chair on the board of the Hope Foundation and you are running the Veteran Dream Center, then I get what I want. Because you're going to say, hey, that guy, that crazy guy, helped me. And now I'm running these companies and I'm doing the charity that I dreamed of, that I just thought was a dream, but now look, it's a reality. And, you know, I run that division of the Hope Foundation. And, you know, it doesn't have to be such a fancy thing. You know, if there's two guys in a parking lot that are working on diesel trucks together and helping each other get through, that's where it starts. You know, and if we can get people, you know, a little bit better chance by all working together, that's what it's all about.
Wow, you really do have something for everyone. That's insane. That's exactly what he's hoping for.
Did I blow your mind, Michael?
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Okay, so I am going to kind of wrap up our call, because I don't like to go too long. People don't want to talk to me next time. He's going to keep us on the phone for 4 hours.
We gotta
but
get you guys meeting in person, the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
You have my phone number, Danika.
Yeah, and he has your card too.
Just Michael, just call me.
Okay.
You and I'll get together. I'll put you on my calendar. We'll meet you at the corporate office in Littleton, and you and I can we'll get together and we'll explore a little bit more about what you're wanting to get a hold of.
Okay.
And I have some opportunities right now that you may be interested in, and you know, like for instance, tomorrow I'm meeting with some guys that are putting together a hot shot company. I don't know if you know what that is.
Sounds familiar.
Guys with flatbed trailers.
Oh, okay.
Calls, say an air conditioning unit is in Colorado, needs to be in Texas tomorrow. They get on this app and then they bid that work. They say, okay, well, I'll make that run for $3,000. And then the low bidder gets the call. They go load the air conditioning unit on, and the guy takes off that night at 11 o'clock. And, you know, 7 in the morning, they're there dropping off that air conditioner because they're willing to pay more money to get the thing right away than they can a big semi truck or a diesel truck or whatever. And then
Oh yeah.
The app that they use to do the bidding, they put a bid in from Austin, Texas, or somewhere in Texas coming back to Colorado, because we got a hot shot out there that's got an empty load coming back. So somebody has a classic car and they have it in Amarillo, Texas. We want to load up that 63 split window Corvette and bring it back to Denver. We bid that job and then we come back. You know,
Okay.
so it's, and we do different transports in town. Part of the daily is we run a motorcycle recovery with the trucks, you know, stranded motorcycles, different car moving services between shops. You know, we take bids on in-town work, keeping the trucks busy until there's a hot shot move to make, and then out they go.
Right.
So I'm meeting with 2 guys that are wanting to start that business tomorrow.
Huh.
And Big Papa doesn't get a day off.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But
Well,
we'll talk.
great.
And Danika, I wanted to give you a little bit of training today, but we
Okay.
got into some different things. So you're going to meet with Luann and you're going to, you know, start setting up the picture taking and doing the stuff for that.
Yeah.
And then let's do a Zoom call next week
Okay.
where I can give you some marketplace instructions and some Etsy instructions, and you know, you can kind of get started on your learning curve
Okay.
on that part of it, and we'll just kind of walk together until we get things going.
Great.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the
Thank you
time.
very much.
Well, we appreciate it.
All
All
right.
right.
Great.
Talk soon
Great.
then.
All right. Take care.